Today on The Joy of Editing, it's a black and white edit using Nic's Silver Efex, part of Nic Collection 9. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, and welcome to The Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. Today we're going to create a dramatic black and white mountain landscape using Nic 9's Silver Efex. I'm starting out here in Photoshop, but you can also launch Silver Efex from Lightroom Classic, DxO Photolab, or even use it as a standalone app. Silver Efex has always been one of my favorite tools for black and white editing because it gives you so much control over tone, contrast, structure, film looks, and local adjustments. And here's a quick heads up. If you're thinking about Nic Collection 9 or any DxO software, you can grab 15% off new purchases with my code Dave Kelly. Links are in the description, and you can try any app free first. If you use my links, I earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. Thanks for supporting the channel. Well, let's go ahead and dive right in. By the way, another way I like to do black and white conversions is with the TK Magic Mixer. I have links for that in the description below, but I also like to work with Nic's Silver Efex as well. So today it's Nic's Silver Efex. So as you can see, I have my Silver Efex panel opened up right here. All I have to do is click open, and that will launch Nic's Silver Efex. And here we are inside of Nic's Silver Efex. Now on the left side of the interface, I'm under presets here. You know, we have all these different presets. You can just hover over these presets and maybe get a good starting point. It's a great way of starting. Once you find a preset you like, you just click on it and it will add the appropriate filters to the right-hand side of the interface. And then they break them down into categories like your personal presets, imported presets, landscape presets. And again, you just hover over these and you can see the change. But that's a good starting point. I'm going to click on all Nic, but I'm going to start with just a neutral black and white conversion and then build it up from here. This is the way I generally work, but sometimes I'll start with a preset if I'm not sure which way to take an image. But starting out with the neutral is a great way to experiment and to see what you can come up with. Now, back to the left side of the interface, here's our presets, but if you click on filters, now you can see a list of all of the different filters here. Now, over to the right side of the interface, you'll notice by default we get film types. This is a group. If you click on it, you could collapse it, click it again, it opens up. And inside you have sensitivity adjustments where you can adjust the luminosity values of red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, and violet. And then you have a tone curve here, and you can add grain to it. Now, if you want to see what colors are in your image, just come up to compare and click this button right here. And you can see there's your color image. So you can see we got some blues, some reds, oranges. So this is a great way of seeing what colors you're working with, especially when you go to make the sensitivity adjustments. Now, I'm left clicking and holding down this compare button. When I release the left click, you see the black and white image back. Now, I always like to start with sensitivity. So anything that's red, if I drag this to the right, things that are red will get lighter or darker. So you can adjust that however you want it. In other words, you can work with yellows, greens, whatever you need to do here, blues. Or you have a bunch of presets here. So if you click right here on this drop down, you can hover over all of these different film. I call them emulations. They emulate these different types of films. Notice that curve down there changes when I hover over these different names. And there's tons of different film types in here, so it's really nice. Now for this image, I think I'm going to use a film type preset. I'll click the drop down and just hover over the different presets and you can see the change. You see that? And again, you can go down through the list, see if you can find one that you really like. And for this image, I chose Ilford Pan F plus 50. So I'll just click on that and you can see the curve. Now you could come in here and change this curve if you want to. I'm just going to do a Command or Control Z to undo that. But this emulates that film, and this is a really nice feature, especially if you used to shoot with film. Maybe you'll find one of your favorite films in this list and you can emulate it, which is really nice. I'll click on sensitivity and you can see those are the sensitivity adjustments according to that film type. Now you can come in here and change these if you want to. And also you'll notice down here for the original grain for that film, it emulates the grain that was in that film, the hardness or softness, and how big is that grain or how small is that grain. And then you could adjust the grain per pixel and grain hardness. If you don't want any grain, just drag this over to the right. If you want more grain, drag it to the left. So that was phase one. I'm going to click on film types right here and collapse that filter. Now let's add a filter. I'm going to add a color filter. Now each one of these filters have presets. If you click the little down arrow right here, you can see the presets and you can hover over the presets. The color filter works much like adding a colored filter to your camera lens. When shooting black and white film, it changes how colors convert into gray tones, lightening similar colors and darkening opposite colors. And for this image, I'm going to use the green preset, so I'll just click on it. I'll scroll back up and click the up arrow this time just to close the presets. And if we look on the right, we can see that color filter with that preset setting. Now you can alter these if you want to. You can adjust the hue and the strength, but I'm going to leave it where it is. And by the way, you could click right here and shut this filter off. There's before and there's after. I can shut off the film type, so I'll click here. There's before the film type change, and here is after. So far, we're off to a good start. I'll click right here and collapse this filter. It keeps everything nice and clean and organized. I really love the interface. Now let's come to the left. Let's do some basic adjustments. I'll click the plus. And now here we have all of the basic adjustments, and these are really powerful. And they're really designed to work on a black and white image. We have Amplify Whites and Blacks, soft contrast, dynamic brightness, as well as highlights, midtones, and shadows. We have different structures for highlights, midtones, and shadows, and fine structure. And then we have shadow and highlight protection. Now, I think my brightness is good. If you want to reset any of these, you can just double click right here and it resets it. Now let's go and work on the highlights. And here's a little tip. If you click on highlights, see how that changes, the shape changes a little bit. It gets a little bit larger. You can use your left and right arrow keys and click that just to do some fine tuning. I want to decrease the highlights, so I'll left click my left arrow. Every time I click it, you notice how it's changing. One click at a time. I'm going to keep going. You can hold it down. It'll go faster. Now I'll use the right arrow. I think I'm going to go to 20%. Actually, minus 20%. I think my midtones are okay. I'm going to go to shadows, and I'm going to drag the shadow slider to the left. What I like to do is get it close to where I want it. I just want to darken up my shadows. And once I get it close, I'll click the right arrow. 1, 2, 3. Minus 27 looks good. And now let's work on the dynamic brightness. I have some information up on the screen that shows you what this control actually does. And I don't want to go too crazy here. I just want to go to right there, -3. Just lower the dynamic brightness a bit. And now we have our contrast adjustments. We can add contrast, take contrast away. I'm just going to double click this and reset it because I think the contrast is good. And now let's look at these two sliders, Amplify Whites and Blacks. These are awesome. I have information on the screen for you right now. What I want to do is amplify the whites. And I'll take it to right there, 18%. And now for the blacks, just a little wee bit. I'll click on Amplify Blacks, and then I'll click my right arrow. 1, 2, 3. 3%. That looks good. And next up, let's adjust the soft contrast. I have information up on the screen for you so you can see what this one does. And I just want a little bit here. And I think 5% works for me. And now let's work with the image structure. We can bring out some details in this image, and in black and white, that's a great thing to do. If you're not seeing these adjustments, just click this arrow right here and they'll open up. I think they're closed by default. Now, the first adjustment, structure, is for overall image structure and highlights, midtones, and shadows. So we can increase it or we could decrease it, take structure out or take details out. I think I'm good here. I'm just going to double click this. Now let's work with highlight structure. We can add more or take some out. I think I want to take some out. I'll take this to -5%. Now let's play with the midtone structure. Isn't that cool? I think I just want a little, like 12%. Now we can work with shadow structure. You see that? Isn't that nice? I don't want too much here. I think 5% is good. And now fine structure. This is more like sharpening. So we can drag this to the right to sharpen up the image. To the left, we can take sharpness away. I think I want to sharpen it a bit to like 15%. And now we have shadow and highlight protection if needed, but I think we're going to be good here. And we can also add local basic adjustments, okay? So I'm going to click Add Local Adjustment. And what I want to do is use a luminosity mask. So I'm going to click this button right here. And I want some of these darker tones in the water. I'm going to click right here and select those tones. And all I want to do here is add a little bit of structure. So let's take this to the right, to right there, 20%. I think that's really good. See, when I hover over the image, you can see that red overlay. That's the areas that are getting affected. So I like that. Now let's shut off the basic adjustments. Here's before And here's after, and I really like what we have so far. By the way, if you need to adjust that luminosity range, we have all these sliders down here we can adjust. I'm not going to get into that here, but this adjustment was really all I needed. Now, what I want to do is, just to make things neat and organized, I'm going to click right here in Basic Adjustments and collapse that group. Isn't this a lot of fun? Now let's go to the left side and let's click on Selective Tones. Click the plus to add selective tones. Now we can adjust our highlights, we can adjust our midtones, we can adjust shadows, and we can adjust blacks. I'll double click right here to reset blacks. And now I think the highlights are good. I just want to open up the midtones just a tiny little bit. Let's come to like 10%. And I think I just want to open up the shadows slightly. I'm going to click on shadows and click my right arrow 1, 2, 3 times to like 3%. Just to open up the shadows a little bit. Now let me shut off selective tones. Here's before and here's after. I'll click right here just to tidy things up and close that group. Now clear view. It's kind of like dehaze, but I love DxO's clear view. It's really superior to most dehazing software. I'm going to click the down arrow and I want to use a preset. Let's hover over the presets. Okay, there's a 102, low, medium, high, and the last one is max. I think I'm going to use low, so let's click on low. Now it's going over the entire image. I only want it on the mountain range back here. Let's click the plus for local adjustments. I want to use an area selection, so I'm going to click this here. And now what I'm going to do is just draw like a box right around this mountain range like that. Release the left click of my mouse. If I hover over, you can see I've just selected the mountain. Now, right now, the mountain is not getting any of the clear view adjustment. And note this setting at 25% from that preset. If I turn this up, everything is getting clear view but the mountain, right? That's not what I want. So I'm going to take this intensity the whole way off and take it off these areas. And then for the mountain, come down here, see where it says intensity? I'm going to take this and drag this up to 25%. If I want more, I can go a little bit stronger, and I may go up here to like 34%. And now let me shut off clear view. Here's before, and notice it's only on the mountain, and here is after. So that's exactly what I want. If you want to see different masking overlays, type your M key. There's no masking, type it again. There's black and white, type it again. Now we have the red overlay, but I have to hover over the image to see it. So there you go. The AI masking tools in DxO software are really exceptional. I'll toggle off clear view. Here's before and here's after, just on the mountain. I like it. I'll click right here just to tidy things up. And now I'll come back to the left side of the interface, and I just want to click right here to close clear view. I want to add a vignette. I want to use a preset, so click the drop down, and I want lens fall off 1. So we'll click on that. I'll click right here to close that. We can adjust the amount. We can make it darker by dragging this to the left, or make it a light vignette by going to the right. We can adjust the shape from a circle to more rectangular shape. So I'm going to make it more rectangular. I'm going to come over to right about here, and we can also adjust the vignette size. But I'm going to leave this at 100%. Now let me shut off the vignette. Here's the before, and here's the after. I really like the vignette. I'll click right here to collapse that. Now I have my Nik Collection 9 software to open as smart objects from Photoshop, so I can always go back and readjust things later by coming back into Silver Efex, so that's really nice. So for this image, I thought I would add a border, and I may not want it later, but I can always come back in here and take it off. So let's go to Image Borders, and I'm going to click the drop down, and let's hover over some of these different borders. See if we find one we like, and there's a lot to choose from in here, okay? But let's just go with type 2. I think I like that. And now we can adjust the size with the size over here. And there's all kind of types in this drop down here. You see, you can go through all these different types. Let's go to this one, type 4. Okay, I'm not using a preset. So we can adjust the size. We can make it have a wider border or a more narrow border. Maybe somewhere right around there looks good. We can adjust how it spreads out. See that little black jaggedy area, which looks really nice. So you can adjust that, the spread of that. You can make it more clean or less clean, more rough. And I like a little bit of roughness in there. And you can also vary the style if you want to, but I like it. Let me shut the border off. Here's before and here's after. But I think for this image, I think it looks cool. And I can always come back in here because this is a smart object and I can take it off if I want to. I'm going to click here to collapse this. And now we could come up here to compare, left click and hold. There's before and there's after. Now, if you click right here, you can have the original image, which was the color image, or you could compare it to a neutral black and white. So let's click on neutral black and white and click the compare. Here's before. That's a neutral black and white, and that's after all of my adjustments. So pretty cool. And of course, you have the split compare, which is nice. And you also have the side compare. Image on the bottom is the after, image on the top before. You could click this here and see them left to right. So pretty nice. If you're working from Photoshop and you always want this to open up as a smart object, which I highly recommend, come down here, see where it says apply, but click right in this area right here. Click on preferences and apply as, and you have choices in here. Just choose smart object, okay? And it will open as a smart object. And that way you can always come back in here and edit later when you open it back up in Photoshop if you want to. And now at this point, I'll just click apply and that'll send us back to Photoshop. And here we are back in Photoshop. Here's my Nic 9 Silver Efex layer. I can shut this off. There's before, there's after. I can double click Nic 9 Silver Efex and go back into Silver Efex, take off the border if I want to, make some changes, do anything I want. It's non-destructive. And I got to tell you, it is a lot of fun. So if you haven't ever worked with Nic Silver Efex, give it a try. Well, there it is, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the black and white edit of this mountain image today using Nic Silver Efex. If you enjoyed today's tutorial, please give this video a like and share it with your friends. And if you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe, click the bell notification icon, click all so that you receive all notifications. And then every time I upload a new tutorial, you'll get notified about it. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today in the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. And I will see you all right here next time. But until then, happy editing.